I think more people should try to just focus on creating content and just trying to be entertaining and growing their communities. Like, all the other stuff is great. All the money, like that's awesome. Like, everything, like that's all really great stuff. But I think when you really like think about just what Twitch is in its purest form, it's just entertainment. And I think a lot of people just need to, take an extra second to just focus on that, as opposed to, worrying about like, oh, I could get all these new things, like a new website and everything like that. Or, like, what if I get to 50 followers and I need 3 viewers or whatever to get to affiliate? Like, you're worrying about the wrong things.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Stream Key Podcast, our weekly show here at TRUgaming, where we show you how to level up your stream on Twitch and just talk Twitch-related news topics, everything streaming. This week, I'm really excited to have 3 people joining us online. First of all is AllFun and Games coming back for the second time on the show from a couple weeks back now. How's it going, dude?
Good.
Thanks.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you, man. Thanks for coming back on. Next up is Whiteshadow, also joining us from pretty close by, but had to Skype in anyway. How's it going, White?
Not too bad, Green. How are you doing today?
Doing good, dude. I like the decoration behind you.
Yes.
There.
Thanks, Vince.
Looking pretty
You're
good.
awesome, dude.
And last but not least, sporting he might be paused, it looks like, again. Not sure. We before this show started, guys, video chat was having issues on Discord. So if we have issues like that, Discord might be having some sort of struggle. So bear with us. Vel, I don't know if you can hear us. I'm guessing he got disconnected. But Vel, if you're watching this, try to hop back in, I guess, the best you can. Anyway, this is our weekly show here at TRUgaming, like I said, where we talk about streaming news and topics. We like to start off with Twitch news, so things that happened the past week or so, and then we'll go through your questions and takes. So if you have questions about getting brand deals on Twitch, how to grow a following, what game to stream, anything you want to talk about, you can call in and ask. Just type !calls to join the show. So the biggest thing to start with, see, I really want to have Vel on for this. This is gonna be, I don't want to get too into the news without Vel. He's typing in the Discord chat now. Oh, there he goes. Popping out there. See if we can get him back in here. Discord was having issues. We actually lost all video chat before the show started, and then it popped back up for a second. So I don't know if maybe Discord's having server issues or whatever. But we'll just roll with this for now. Oh, his internet died. Okay, that's actually Vel's end. So hopefully it comes back up soon. I guess we'll just roll with the show for now, though. So the first thing that I want to talk about, which is the biggest story over the past week, and it's like kind of a rumor, but at this point I'm pretty sure it is an actual thing. Subscriber only viewing is being tested on Twitch secretly. They haven't announced anything yet. They haven't made any sort of like press releases, but people have been digging up these accounts that have been testing sub only viewing, where, like it sounds, you have to be a subscriber to watch the channel. I think there's like a free trial period, so you can watch for like 3 minutes, and then you have to pay to watch more, which has been received not the best overall by people. AllFun, did you have a chance to look into this a little bit?
Yeah, so I kind of looked at it. Believe it or not, I've kind of thought about this a long time ago, that eventually they would start doing this, because imagine they started bringing actual, like, not TV shows, but they I think they do NFLs on Thursdays sometimes, I believe, right? Do they not?
Yeah, they've done
I think
NFL
they do.
in
Yeah,
the past, for sure.
Yeah, so I think that's been free. You can watch that, but I think it was a matter of time before they kind of incorporated this into Twitch, because I mean, I understand both sides of it. If they were trying to bring like a major corporation in, ESPN or something like that, and then go, you have to be subscribed in order to watch them. It does make sense if they're trying to do that. But I think in the sense of, an actual, all around, like 90% of Twitch is going to start doing this. I don't see that happening, or at least I hope not, because there's Vel.
Vel's back. Overlays catching up. Don't worry.
Welcome back. But yeah, I hope that I hope it doesn't become like a normal thing, or because I feel like Twitch is, for me anyways, I'm in lurk mode. Sometimes I'm not even logged in my account to watch, and it would be pretty sad to see that become a thing across the board. But for big channels that, if, let's just say hypothetically, they brought HBO to Twitch, right? I don't think that's going to happen. But if they did, and they said something like you have to subscribe in order to watch it, this would be an easy way to watch HBO, pay $5 a month in order to watch it, and be directly available on Twitch. Bring a lot of advertising for Twitch specifically. But I don't know if that's their avenue, but I'm saying that this could lead to something like that, right? So.
Yeah, I didn't actually even think about, like, a bigger business perspective of like broadcast networks and things like that, that makes sense because it's kind of just pay-per-view at that point, essentially. So that's a cool side I hadn't thought about. Vel, I don't know if you're able to hear anything we were talking about there.
I was not.
We were touching on the sub-only viewing stuff that popped up over the week. Did you have a chance to look at that too?
A little bit. So yeah, like I said, I don't really know what was already said. I don't really know how I feel about the sub-only streaming. If it does end up becoming a thing, I don't know. It's just another way to exclude certain people just because they can't financially support you. So I don't know, and I'm not all about it.
Yeah, I think overall it's been pretty poorly received. I know they talked about it on like Drop the Frames with Co Carnage and those guys, and of course on Reddit it's been talked about a lot. People basically saying if you do this on Twitch, you kind of be shooting yourself in the foot, and also comparing it to, there's always the constant joke about Twitch being similar to like a cam girl site, and that's like one more way that it gets there. So like that's kind of the edgier stuff, but I haven't seen a whole lot of positive thoughts about it besides what AllFun said. Actually, I think that is actually a good point that you brought up with kind of that business side of things. But Whiteshadow, what are your thoughts overall about this?
I don't really have any thoughts quite yet because we don't know like what all it entails. I think with Twitch testing it, it kind of raises some concern as to who's going to be able to get it, because I can see if they're like, okay, we're going to give this to all of the affiliates. Some affiliates could come in, like newer affiliates could come in and be like, hey, this is an easier way for me to get subscribers, so I'm going to put mine in subscriber only mode. You get what I'm saying? It can be a double-edged sword. But then on the other side of that, you can come in and say, hey, we're going to partner with ESPN and show off X amount of football games or whatever, like AllFun said, and do it on the business side. So I think they need to be selective of who gets it, if that's how it's going to be.
Right.
But
not let
we don't know
access.
Yeah, but we don't know how it's even going to work. So I can't really say how I feel yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. They haven't announced anything, so it's not like we can really attack it too much yet because we don't know if it'll even actually launch at all. So
yeah,
that's a fair point. But I think it's kind of interesting to think about because I know people have talked about this concept before. Some people are saying, having the option out there is always good. Doesn't mean you have to use it. That's how people feel about a lot of stuff on Twitch, like sub-only VODs and things like that. But I don't know. We'll see if maybe there are good ways this can be rolled out. If they do actually roll it out, will remain to be seen. I personally think they will. But I don't know. They could just be testing it to see what the reception is overall. We will see. If you guys have thoughts about sub-only viewing, please feel free to call into the show or tag us in chat with your questions. We can bring those up and talk about that as well. Second big thing I want to get into is actually Streamlabs doing a ton of different things recently. Like over the past 2 weeks, they made a bunch of big pushes. So that kind of comes in 3 areas. The first one is creator websites. So now you can build your own little creator website hub through Streamlabs. Well, they'll host that for you. You can link to your social media. You can sell merch on there. And it is free actually for most people. There's a paid version and a free version, but the free version is easy to use. You don't get your custom domain, but it's still something to use, which is cool. Second thing is Streamlabs Prime, which is sort of like the upgraded version of that. So you just get more features for your custom website. So you get a custom URL. So, whatever your email could be, white@whiteshadow.tv or something like that, which would be kind of cool. And you get more support and graphics and stuff like that, I think. There's an infographic in the Discord if you want to see all the information, but that's like $150 a year, I think, if I have that number right. So that was kind of interesting too. And lastly, they're making a bunch of affiliate upgrades. Sounds like they're trying to make affiliation more accessible to everybody in Streamlabs. Before they had like just the All Stars thing and the referral link, and now it's kind of this evolving system where you go from like a basic affiliate all the way up to All Star. So I'm just excited to see that Streamlabs is making all these cool movements forward. Personally, Vel, do you have any thoughts on all this?
You mean on the subscriber streams only? Is that what you're talking about? I'm sorry.
On the the creator websites and
oh no, I'm sorry, my bad. No, I haven't seen too much about it yet. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of effort to be put into something else that's not just creating things on Twitch to me. So I need to look a little bit more into it. I don't know. It could be cool. Like having more options is always good, as far as like, other ways to advertise your channel and everything, but we'll have to see how they roll it out and everything.
Yeah. AllFun, have you considered working with a website or anything like that before?
I don't know if I would ever put my channel on a website, but I think that the idea that they're actually letting you kind of do that if you wanted to is pretty cool. The one thing that I noticed recently on Streamlabs is they have like a big rewards program now where you can actually log in. You start out at silver if you're at 15 viewers or more. You upgrade to gold, which gives you an automatic T-shirt, like a bunch of like entrants for like giveaways and stuff like that. And then if you get to, I think if you're 500 plus or more, you get to diamond, and then there's like something after that, which is like the big all-star. If you get to the very end, I think if you have like 500 plus viewers, you get an automatic $3,000 gaming build, which is pretty crazy. So that's like their big, that's when I was looking at, because I got a notification the other day on Streamlabs. I'm like, oh, what's this? I clicked on it and it said, get yourself to this goal. And what they're also trying to do too as well, if you're currently using OBS, I mean, obviously you're not going to get it, but if you switch to Streamlabs OBS, they are promoting where you get like an automatic 50-point boost on your achievement board in order to switch over. I don't think I'm going to still switch over to, I think I'm going to stick with OBS myself, but it's pretty crazy that they're offering that, right? So people that might be, it's kind of like a push for themselves. A lot of advertising I think is going into Streamlabs right now. It's pretty good. But getting back to like the website side of things, a lot of times when it comes to channels right now, people always say, how do I advertise my channel for Twitch and stuff like that? I don't know if this is going to get really big on that, but I think that, it does offer the opportunity to maybe potentially put your, website out there with your stream and everything, kind of like an all-in-one place for sponsors to look at, people to just go to in general and stuff like that too. So it's a good idea, but I mean, I'd like to see where it takes off and how many people actually use it for sure, especially the Prime thing for $20. What is it? You said it was $20 a month, was it for that? Sorry, what was it?
I think it was like $150 a year. Let me pull up
a year, yeah.
Discord. There's probably a monthly payment associated with that. I don't know what that breaks down
like
to.
12 something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $12.50.
Okay. Yeah. So again, the graphics are in the Discord, guys. If you want to see them for both Streamlabs Prime as well as the evolving affiliate stuff that AllFun was talking about, from silver to gold to diamond, all that. That is really complicated, actually. That whole affiliate system, they have all these rewards you can get. Like you mentioned, you get a PC build, I guess, if you have over 3,000 viewers. Is that like guaranteed?
Yeah, it's guaranteed. Apparently it's guaranteed. It says the first time when you're on 15 plus, which you're on silver ranking, you can enter in to win a 3,000 gaming build. I believe it's actually not a 3,000 gamer build. I'm pretty sure it's a $5,000 gaming build, but I'd have to double check.
Yeah, on the website I saw both a 3 and a 5, which is
pretty crazy. So looking at the reward system right now, if you scroll down, there's 4 things. There's a silver, which is 15 concurrent. They do CCV, which is concurrent viewers, right? 200 concurrent viewers or points you can add on there as well too. Platinum is 1,600 CCVs. Then you have Diamond, which is 5,000, and then you have Legendary, which is 15,000 CCVs. So I mean, you have to be pretty high up on Twitch in order to do that. There's a few things that I had questions about as well about behind this. If you get to the highest number that you can, you get free tickets to TwitchCon PAX SW. $5,000 streaming setup, you automatically get that right away. You get a cash rewards, and then you get a custom website done for yourself as well too. So that's like the high end side of things. The one question I was curious about is like, how does Streamlabs, measure if somebody has, for example, bots in their channel and stuff like that, right? I just don't understand how they're gonna look at that, to kind of prioritize people and how they're actually like doing it, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, tracking with this stuff is actually getting insane. Like I've been working with the quest mode stuff recently, and I saw with Streamlabs recently, they can even check if you have links in your panels now automatically, so, and like graphics and things like that. So I'm sure they can have some way of tracking that, which is pretty crazy.
Which is great.
Yeah. Overall, this stuff's just really cool. Whiteshadow, you have any thoughts on either websites or the affiliate path upgrades?
I was just kind of looking through it, and basically what I like to see that Streamlabs is doing is they're starting to incentivize like using their platform, but they're also giving streamers and content creators a way to make money passively on the side, which is always a good thing because gear costs money. But I think it's cool that like they have this nice affiliate program that it gives you something to work towards, because you get that silver status and you're like, oh, I want to keep ranking up. you want to get those prizes and stuff like that. That's pretty cool if you're into that sort of thing. The affiliate thing where you can earn $20 anytime someone uses your promo code, that to me is cool because that's another passive thing that you can do. So if someone uses your code to sign up, boom, there's $20. I mean, that's always nice. As far as the site goes, one thing I see that I really like, and this might stem from me using YouTube with you on the TRUgaming thing, but the advanced SEO is freaking amazing. That would be pretty cool to me.
Yeah, so a couple things there. One, on the side of affiliate stuff, I totally agree with you guys. I think it's really cool they're building out this visual system for you and like all these milestones to get along the way as you grow your channel. I think it's worked really well for Twitch for growing affiliates and partners. And I'm sure, you know, even we're kind of doing that at TRUgaming with our system, just because people like to see like the progression, because it's not so easy to see on Twitch sometimes. So seeing yourself kind of rank up and get new things is really fun, and it kind of fits in with the whole gaming culture too, you know? It kind of similar there. As far as the websites go, you mentioned the SEO stuff. Here's the thing, like I think websites are a really good system because the big issue with content creation on Twitch and YouTube and things like that is that you're at the mercy of that website. So if tomorrow Twitch shuts down, YouTube shuts down, then you're just out of luck, right? So that's why I think building a website is really good, because that's in your control and you're the one putting content there. You're not dependent on other people to make your living, basically. The problem though is that, like, even if you get a really good website and you get really good SEO, like you said, Whiteshadow, people aren't going to find it or go there right now. I think maybe that'll be how it turns in the future, but people aren't going to be like searching online for, you know, Whiteshadow 001 and go to your website and watch you there right now, because people are just on the platforms. So I still think it's a good idea to make a website. And I think, like, if you guys have been thinking about this, you should go ahead and do it because it's pretty easy and it's free right now. It doesn't hurt you. You know, if you do podcasts and YouTube, it's a great place to have all your content centralized. But I don't think you should use it as a way to really grow as much as like make a hub for your existing stuff, because the growth will still come from the big platforms, right? Twitch and YouTube and whatever. But this is a good way to kind of cross-pollinate and bring people from one side to the other in one little location. So that's kind of my quick thoughts on it overall. I definitely recommend looking into it if you don't have a website or if you've thought about this. I think it's a pretty cool system. I don't know. I think the Prime stuff is cool, probably for the domain aspect if you're looking to work with brands. So if you're able to send messages to game developers or, you know, supplement companies, things like that, from your own personalized domain, I think that makes a good impression, and I think that might be worth it. But some of the other stuff I think is not as important as it might seem. So I think starting with a free website is a great idea, and then you can move up if you decide that is something you want to have down the road, is what I would say. But
yeah, some sponsors will actually ask you for like a portfolio or something like that. So I mean, I think that's like an easy way of just linking that in there and saying, here it is, and that's kind of everything all in one, rather than they have to click on YouTube, you know, Twitter. They're looking at all the different sources just to kind of see, you know, everything that you do. But yeah, I definitely agree. Like, that's a great place to have all your stuff in one place. So if you want to go, you know, to a brand, or maybe down the line, like if you want to transition, if you want to transition into maybe working for a company or something as, you know, a social media person or whatever, you have all that there to show them. So I think that's a great idea. Anyway, that's most of the Streamlabs stuff, which is pretty exciting. The last piece of news I have for this week is kind of an interesting one. And this is what happened in the artifact directory over the past week. I talked with White about this a little bit. Hopefully you guys got to see some of it as well, Bell and AllFun. But for those of you who didn't notice, so I'll try to explain the story here a little bit. There's a large streamer. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he had this meme in his channel where he would go into the artifact directory and just see how it's doing, because Artifact is essentially a dead game. And so he would do that. And one day of this past week, someone decided to play off of that and have something ready for him when he checked out the directory. And then more people started doing that, and more people started doing that. And it became this whole big troll directory where people were putting things that were, to start with, they were funny. So, you know, Vince sent me a screenshot of just like 20 channels all streaming this video of a seal at the same time. Seal.mp4. If someone has a
MP4, yeah, there
you should put it in the Twitch chat, which is
just
funny.
throw it up behind me.
Yeah, but then it kind of devolved into a bad direction where people were streaming things that should not be streamed on Twitch, whether that was, pro sports games or porn or other content, and became like this big concerted effort. And Twitch did not like that. And so Twitch actually ended up banning new channels from streaming to the Artifact directory altogether. So you couldn't make an account and stream there. That's ostensibly just a shutdown on people who are just spamming new accounts to stream stuff they shouldn't be streaming. But I think it's a kind of interesting thing to talk about because like Twitch is always going to have a tough time cracking down on stuff like this. And this always happens with big events, right? If the Super Bowl's on, if some big fight's on, there's always streams of it on Twitch. No matter how fast Twitch is at shutting those down, they're going to keep popping up. And this happens from time to time. So I'm curious what you guys think about this whole situation and maybe just the idea of Twitch trying to police a lot of copyrighted content or not so family-friendly content on the platform. AllFun, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, after I pretty much knew about it right away. After I looked at it, I was like, okay, this is just crazy. I mean, I don't know how old is I mean, I didn't even know about Artifact before this happened. How old is that game? Just out of curiosity.
I'm not actually sure how old it is, but the biggest thing I remember with Artifact, I don't know if you guys saw this, is the initial reveal, which was at some conference, and they hyped up this big Dota thing, and then it said Artifact, the Dota card game, and the entire audience just goes, oh. And ever since that's I feel like been the general feel of the game compared to things like Hearthstone and Magic. It's like, why play this Dota card game? I think go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that if I was the developers of that, I would be pretty annoyed at that. I mean, more than annoyed, I guess, right? So I wonder if there's going to be any backlash on that, first of all. But yeah, I had a chance to actually view that for a while, about an hour or two, just kind of looking through, and it was nuts. The weird thing is that for the amount of channels that were streaming, at the time that I watched, there was 6 or 7 people actually streaming. They were not streaming Artifact, first of all, but what they would do is they would stream Artifact in the bottom right corner, the size of a little tiny nothing, pretty much. You could barely see the game, and the rest was just all YouTube videos going on at the same time. But what they do is they have media share enabled. So instead of song requests, you basically go in there and you type a video that you want to play automatically, and it would play on their channel, and that's what they do. But it was crazy to see. People were dropping tons and tons of $100 worth of bits on certain streamers that just began to stream it on there. So it was crazy to see that. But there were a few channels that you could definitely see that a staff representative from Twitch was in there. And they were pretty much poking at them, try to do something, But it was crazy to see, So I mean, I think in this situation, yeah, one, if I was Artifact, if I was developers, I'd be pretty annoyed. But two, I don't know how, it's hard for them to police that. I know that Twitch does certain things where if your channel's, in grade A quality, they can put you as a representative to kind of report things like this. I think they can actually make you, I don't know if they make you a staff representative or not, but so I think that might be one of their goals in the future, is to get more streamers that are higher up there. Whether they're partnered or whether, they have a good reputation going on, to become a staff to actually police more things like this happening, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, right? Just recruiting the community to expand your reach if they're trustworthy, because they'll do more than you could ever do, basically. Makes a lot of sense. Whiteshadow, you have any thoughts on this?
I think it's hilarious, first of all. But I've seen this happen, not only just in the Artifact directory, but I've seen this happen multiple times on Twitch. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday when I was there, but
the video for you. You got the actual video.
I love you, Vince. But I saw some random account that was made 3 days prior to this event happening. There was some major soccer game happening, and this dude was streaming it to Twitch, and he had 14,000 people watching him. And I've seen this happen so many, and there's 4 or 5 different accounts that were doing it. So it's been happening widespread, AllFun and Games said, it's been happening widespread on Twitch. And I don't think Twitch can keep up with the amount of content that hits the platform. They're trying really hard. But like what he said, if I was the developer and this was happening in the directory of my game, I'd be somewhat upset. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to come down to Twitch having to police and kind of maintain relations with those developers a little bit, which can get really hairy. But what are they gonna do?
Yeah, and it's not just even game devs though. Like you said, it's like sporting events.
Mm-hmm.
Even going back to the first topic, let's say that ESPN comes down the road and creates this sub-only viewing for a game or something. I mean, people are going to still try to stream that in a non-sub-only format.
Yeah.
So that's always going to be a big thing. I don't know that it's really solvable for Twitch, even if they recruit people in the community to help out with that stuff. Unless those people have direct banning power, you're just not going to be able to move fast enough. As Twitch grows and there's more and more people on the platform, that means more and more trolls who will do things like this, and people take advantage of that. So I don't know. It's just a tough question to solve, but hopefully they can work something out here in the future. All right, guys, let's go through. We can start taking calls now. So if you want to call into the show, just type !calls in the chat, and you can join that server right there. What you need to do is accept my friend request once you join the voice chat, and I'll pull you in after that. You get priority if you're a caller, and if you can't call in for any reason, you can still type in the chat, which plenty of you guys already have, so thank you for that. I'm going to check the Discord really quickly. We don't have any callers, so we'll just go right to questions then. All right, first question comes from Mr. Pure Instinct, who said, I can't call in as I'm about to run out the door, but listening to a past episode, you were talking about having other content like YouTube, videos, podcasts, etc. Would it be good if you're in a viewership lull or just in general to ever double down on this and maybe even focus on it more than your live stream? Really good question. So in some cases, is it better to actually put more effort into off-stream content like YouTube, podcasts, than your actual stream? Throw this to Vel first. What are your thoughts on this?
I would say keep putting the same amount of effort that you are into, whatever it is that you're the most passionate about. If streaming is your main thing, don't take so much time away from streaming, because then people are going to have an even harder time finding your channel. So I would say, like, you can definitely put in more effort on other things, but keep your primary focus what you want it to be. Like, don't expect everything to come into your channel just because you're doubling down on YouTube or anything like that. Like I said, the less time that you're on Twitch it makes it more difficult for people to find your channel. So I don't know. I would say just keep doing your thing, but then just put a little bit more focus on YouTube or extra content in other spaces.
Fair enough. You got to keep actually streaming for the stream to grow, right? Makes sense. AllFun, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I would agree with Vel. Focus on what you feel is going to be your most successful platform, but at the same time too, making the right YouTube content does take time, right? So I've kind of dabbled in this a little bit where I was like, okay, I'm going to stream and I'm going to do YouTube, but putting out YouTube videos, if you're just copying and pasting your content online, you definitely can do that. But if you want to make it look nice, most videos that you see on YouTube are nice, short, less than 5 to 7 minute clips, stuff like that. So it does take time and effort to do that. So you just got to make sure you have that time available, right? Whereas if you're doing it full time and you have the availability to do both, just focus on what you think that if you want Twitch to grow, you're going to make sure that you're going to put more time into Twitch than YouTube. But it is a great question because a lot of streamers like to have their Twitch channel, and they also like to have little clips of them that look funny clips, or them doing really good in a game or something like that. So just know that you're going to have that time to make your YouTube channel or your YouTube clip like actually stand out for sure, right?
Right. Yeah, you can't just regurgitate the same content on another platform, right? To do the same thing there, right?
Sometimes it does work, but it's pretty rare. I don't see very much of that anymore. A lot of people don't really tune into watching exactly what you had on Twitch, because if you're just basically copying and pasting, everything that you see on Twitch, on YouTube is going to have your notifications going off on the video and stuff like that, and it might not look so professional.
Yeah, you're right. There are some cases where you can kind of do that. One thing we look at a lot is doing like patch note rundowns on stream or like gameplay commentary. But even then, even if you're just highlighting that and pumping it to YouTube, you still have to put time into making a thumbnail and doing tag research and getting all that stuff configured. So it's not as easy as just export and you're done, really, if you want it to work well. And I'll throw this to White next, who does a lot of YouTube stuff himself. What are your thoughts on this?
So I'm going to kind of preface something that Gary Vee said on a video that I watched of him. He said, whenever you're putting out content online, whether that be Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live, whatever you guys do, put 80% of what you're going to do into your main platform and that extra 20% into everything else. So the meat and potatoes of everything that you do should be focused on Twitch. And then all of the other stuff is passive because, like you said, what happens if Twitch goes belly up? You already have a backlog of stuff on YouTube, your podcast, all of that stuff. So, and it's like what we've been talking about. You always want to have other content that kind of helps foster a brand off Twitch, because the brand itself is you. I mean, your main platform can be Twitch all day long, but like we've been talking about, what happens if all of a sudden Twitch starts falling and you don't have anything backed up? There goes your brand. You have to start rebuilding it somewhere else. So go ahead and make content for other platforms and have it on standby just in case. And it also is passive growth. So that's something that I think is really good. But whatever your main platform is, focus most of your time on that and make extra content with the free time that you have off stream.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you that kind of stuff. I think YouTube's really important. And honestly, I think as like a general rule, you could definitely put more time into YouTube than you have been, if that makes sense. Because like you'll hear a lot of people talk about this, who talk about how to grow on Twitch. YouTube is just so good because of the discoverability that Twitch doesn't have. And I think there's just so much potential there for you to make really easy to make videos, even if you don't have a lot of stuff. If you can stream, you probably have enough stuff to make a YouTube video, or at least record it and send it to somebody to be edited, something like that. But I think MPI, it sounds like he's in a spot here where he's kind of, hit this slump. And I know he's streaming quite a fair amount, like full time. So I don't think streaming more is going to solve his issue if he's, kind of unhappy with where he's at right now. So I would say definitely try out YouTube. If what you've been doing isn't working, then don't just keep doing the same thing, expecting to get something different to come out. Like Vel said, I think it is important to keep streaming and keep building up that core that you have there. Like, don't lose sight of whatever, that 10, 15 viewers you have. But if you want to keep growing, you do need to try some new things, because doing the same thing is not going to bring new results if it hasn't been working in the past. If it has been working in the past, though, keep doing it. That's the difference. So hopefully that makes sense. But I think it's a really good question, and I'm always a big fan of branching into things like that. Like AllFun said, too, if you can find ways to do things on stream that double well as podcasts or YouTube, even this show, right? We're streaming this right now, and it's pretty minimal editing when it goes out to iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. That's a great example of ways to just bump up the content without a lot of more time investment and without sacrificing your stream so much. So I think that's a great way to get started with that, personally.
A lot of people will what they'll do too is, if they're scared. So the biggest thing not the biggest thing, but definitely the biggest question on Twitch is, what do I do? I always feel like you have to, sometimes people feel like they always have to be streaming or they're going to miss out big time, right? And YouTube is kind of like that area where if you're going on vacation, feel free to put a video up while you're away, right? Because I know that Twitch offers the rerun function as well too, but if you're streaming and you feel, hey, I'm going to be gone for 1 week, what do? Feel free to put some background content there for people to watch while they're away. While you're away, sorry. So they have somewhere to go to kind of stay active, like in your community still, watching your channels too. But yeah, like if you're, it's a very hard thing to say, like, if you're streaming 24/7 on Twitch and you're just like, okay, I don't feel like my channel is growing. Do I switch over to YouTube? It's definitely, you won't know until you try it, right?
Yeah. It comes down to what Vel said too, like what your passion is. If you're only doing YouTube because you feel like you have to, then I don't think it's going to work out for you. But if you still like YouTube and you just think it's another way to add on, then definitely do it. Don't like force yourself to do something that you're going to hate when you'd rather just be streaming. That's definitely a good point too there. I think you should consider.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like what Gary Vee said. Like, if you're willing to do something for free, like that should be like what your focus is. Like, do the one thing that it doesn't matter whether you're making money on it or not, because you'll be able to grind through the tough parts if you're doing that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, he followed up in the chat saying he's been doing 5 to 6 hours a day. Should I maybe cut back to 4 to 5 and spend extra time on YouTube? I would say yes, personally. I always go back to the 20-hour-a-week rule, which is like beyond that, you're not getting that much more value for the stream generally. So I would say put the time into YouTube if you're interested in it, but that might differ for you guys. I'm not sure. No. Well, MPI, thanks for the question, dude. Appreciate that. Good question. Really like talking about other types of content too. It factors into the website too. So if you do end up making podcasts and YouTube content, that website might be great for you to kind of redirect people pretty easily. So that could be cool. Next question comes from British Avenger. So how do you return to streaming from a long break with a good mood when you know you lost followers/subs? Great question. You know, you're forced to take a break for some reason for your stream. Maybe you're on vacation or a health issue or something, and you inevitably are going to lose some following during that. I'll throw this to Vel first because I know he has a story of this happening himself. What are your thoughts on this?
So this has actually happened to me a few times, and there's really no like perfect way to do it to where like you're gonna like make sure that all of your viewers are back and everything. It's a really slow process. Like I've had to regrow my channel a few times, like basically from nothing, and it sucks, but you just keep pushing, man. If it's something you're passionate about, you just keep driving through and just enjoy it, man, because you don't want to focus on what you don't have. You want to focus on what you currently still have and what you can still achieve. Don't worry about the past anymore. It's over with. There's nothing you can do about it. So keep grinding, look forward, and just push through.
Right. And you reminded me just now, you've been talking recently about kind of like remembering what the core of Twitch is about. You've been talking to me about that. I think I want to get into that maybe after this question. We have some time here.
Yeah, for sure.
But AllFun, in terms of taking a break, what are your thoughts on coming back from that and making sure you're still in a good mood and energized?
Yeah, I would agree with Vel. You know, don't focus on it too much. I know that, you know, when you first start streaming, for example, and you have your panel up and you see, okay, I got 6 followers, and then you go to stream the next time and you're down to 4, right? That number really plays with your mind, right? And it's even more when you go on vacation and you come back and that number might drop down by, you know, 20 or 30, right? So the idea is, you know, what Vel said is try to, you know, push past it. Don't really focus on it at all, because it's not anything in your control anyways. You know, it's not like people look on Twitch and they might follow, you know, 100 people a day, right? And eventually they're just going to go through, well, it's time to clean up my channel a little bit. Let's unfollow a few people, you know, and that's just how it works, right? So it's, you know, if you have a community that really, really does enjoy your channel, they're going to come back no matter what. They're not going to just ghost you because they know that you got to go to, you know, Florida to go to Disney World or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's not going to, I don't think that's going to really happen in that case. So it's just one of those things. So try not to focus on it. I know the hardest thing that anybody can say is try not to focus on it. Try not to focus on it, because you're going to, you know, your mind's just going to play on you anyways. But in reality, you know, that's just basically what you got to do. Just keep doing what you're doing when you come back, especially, and you'll eventually get those numbers back, right? One thing that really helps when you're on vacation is what I said earlier is, you know, when you come back from vacation, get everybody ready to maybe see a compilation of what you're, if you have time to, you know, do a vlog or something like that while you're out there. People love that. Also, you know, stay active with your Discord while you're on vacation as well too. Even just like a message a day can, like, you know, keep people updated and say, hey, you know, miss you guys or something like that, you know what I mean? So that way you're still interacting with your channel if you can. Obviously, if it's not a vacation that you're going away on, it's something personal, you know, but there's definitely things to kind of look forward to. But yeah, just like, you know, don't focus on the numbers too hard, because you know, you can get lost in that for sure.
Yeah, that's what I want to hit on too with the stuff that Vel's been talking about too with the numbers specifically. But I definitely agree with, like you said, if you're on that break right now and it's like a shorter break, make sure you over communicate and tell your audience what's happening, when you'll be back, maybe kind of send updates of what you're doing, stuff like that. It's always good to keep them engaged, for sure. Whiteshadow, what are your thoughts on this?
Kind of what the other two said. When you take a break of any type, I always have been like a huge advocate of just keeping everybody in the loop on social media, even if it's just like a status like, hey guys, I'm good, we're okay, I'll be back at this point or something like that. If you know there's like a point that you're going to come back. But keeping people in the loop, kind of staying fresh. It's not going to combat like everybody coming back to your channel, but the core viewers that you have built over time, it will be like give them a sort of idea. Hey, okay, I can expect him or her back on this date. Cool. I get to see my favorite streamer again. Glad to know they're doing good, because on Twitch, you do build a relationship with people. You can become friends with some of your viewers or all of your viewers. I like to think everybody that comes into the channel is a friend. So like these are your friends, kind of think of it in that aspect, keeping your friends updated, keeping your friends in the loop, and they'll come back. You will have to build back up, like Vel said, but it's just the fickle beast that is Twitch, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. But like the other guy said, you know, they just keep going, and if you have a passion about it, it'll get better.
Yeah, I think it's important to mention too, even if you are really good about communicating and prepping people ahead of time, you're still going to lose people no matter how good you are at that. So that's something you're just going to be ready for. So make sure you kind of think through that and are prepared going into that, but don't let that discourage you, sort of. Because at the end of the day, you should just be enjoying it for itself first, and the rest will come with time. And there are really good viable reasons to take a break, by the way. Don't feel bad about taking a break if you have mental or health problems that you need to deal with, or if you do want to go on a vacation, because some people just don't go on vacation and really need to. Make sure you take that time for yourself if you need to. It can really help you in the long term. Even if it feels like in the short term you're going to lose something, long term it can help you kind of pay off that way. So let's throw this really quick. Actually, I need to mention subs really quickly because we got quite a few subs. So thanks to Lil Fitty, Rab, Susie QQ, Veli, and Magsy for subscribing, guys. Appreciate all of you. Thanks for supporting the show and all that we do here. I want to throw this to Vel real quickly to kind of talk about this concept I hinted at here, because I saw you talking about it a little bit on Twitter and even a little bit on your own stream, I think. Do you just want to talk about that for a sec?
Yeah, I guess. For sure. So there's all these new things that you can do basically to maybe get your name out there or get new people in your channel or make an extra buck, something like that. There's all these little things that you can do to try to keep people in your channel or to find new people. But I think people are focusing a lot on that extra stuff and not so much focusing on just creating content on Twitch. When it really comes down to the core of Twitch, it's about just streaming whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's IRL, art, or video games. I think more people should try to just focus on creating content and just trying to be entertaining and growing their communities. All the other stuff is great, all the money, that's awesome, everything, that's all really great stuff. But I think when you really think about just what Twitch is in its purest form, it's just entertainment. And I think a lot of people just need to take an extra second to just focus on that, as opposed to worrying about maybe the new Streamlabs thing where oh, I could get all these new things, a new website and everything like that, or what if I get to 50 followers and I need 3 viewers or whatever to get to affiliate. You're worrying about the wrong things. Just focus on creating better content.
Yeah, I think this is really important to talk about, especially on this show, because we talk so much about how to improve your stream. But so I've been listening to Matt Diavel a little bit recently, and he brought up the concept recently that nowadays everything turns into a side hustle that you do. So if you bake cupcakes for a picnic or something, then you get told, oh, you should make this into a business, right? You should become a bakery. You should put this on Etsy, whatever. It's kind of this culture of everything you do on the side should be a business instead of just for fun. So I think it's important to mention that you can, the core of Twitch, like you said, is just streaming for friends and hanging out with people, right? That's what it's all about. It doesn't have to be a business. It doesn't have to be this huge thing. And we're all about improving that if you want to take it that way. But I think it's worth remembering that that's kind of why probably most of us started on Twitch. Most of us didn't start on Twitch to make a business, right? We just started on Twitch because it was fun. And then it kind of evolved that way down the road. So getting back to that core of why you did it is just so important. Because going back to the last question, if you take a break and, oh, my viewers will be down if I come back and that's going to suck. If you just kind of remember why you started in the first place, that won't matter as much because you're still doing the same thing you started on day one, right? Still streaming for some friends. Doesn't matter how many there are, how close to partner you are, how many websites you have. That's the core of what you're doing, and it should just be enjoyable of itself, and everything else is a bonus, right? I would say.
And even if it is for, I'm sorry to kind of just to kind of build up on that a little bit, even if it is for a business or something like that, when it comes down to it, the business that you're in is streaming and entertainment. So if you are still trying to make money off of it, that'll come eventually. You know what I mean? Focusing on enjoying and entertaining is huge, and I think it comes off as really genuine when you do something like that, as opposed to coming up with a gimmick to make an extra buck every stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that just goes back to what we always say too, right? It doesn't matter. Actually, this kind of transitions to the topic I want to talk about later too. Doesn't matter how good your stuff is, how great your camera is, how many VSTs you have in your new mic. If your content isn't enjoyable, if you're not enjoying it, then it's not going to matter, right? For sure. AllFun, you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, you literally just said what I was gonna say. Is if you're not enjoying what you're doing, your channel's gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's gonna suffer right away, but it eventually, might if you're forcing yourself to do something that you don't want, right? And I think what Val's saying is, focus more on enjoying and like having fun on your channel, like when interacting with chat, bringing more people in to enjoy it. If you're sticking there and you're saying, I have to stream 14 to 16 hours a day, otherwise I'm just not going to make it on Twitch, it could work for you, but I think that all in all, you're going to burn yourself out pretty quick. And then you're going to find yourself wanting to go on those long vacations and then coming back and going, oh no, my channel's stuff, my channel's followers are a little bit reduced than they were before. But yeah, as long as you're having fun with what you're doing, all in all, like that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now. Cause I mean, I've been focusing a lot on like one specific game, and that worked out really well for me. And now migrating to other games, I'm noticing, for example, my viewers are not so high. And at first you look at there, you're like, oh man, if I was streaming that original game that worked really well for me, everything is going to be great. But at the same time, you got to take those breaks that you need, right? You got to refresh your brain and get back into what you enjoy. I mean, not to say that I don't enjoy the other game or anything like that, but you want to give your brain a little bit of a refresh every now and then, right? And have fun as much as you can. And that's the thing with Twitch is, don't focus so much on I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. It shouldn't be I have to do this. It should be I want to do that, right?
Yeah, I think game choice is a great example of that too, because I know like I've felt that personally recently. I know Vel probably has with whether it's him for Fortnite and me for streaming Smash. Like, this game on paper is better for your channel, but you're not going to enjoy it as much as something else that you just want to play that's maybe not like the most optimal game to stream, but long term it's going to make you a lot happier. I think that's a great example, because when you're starting on Twitch, again, you're not going through these games like, all right, Dark Souls 3 is the best according to this viewership chart. If I stream at this time, like you're just streaming something you enjoy, right? And then eventually you get caught up in that race of trying to find the right game at the right time. There's value there, but I think it can sometimes lead to burnout if you get too caught up in that stuff. So that's a good point to mention. White, what are your thoughts?
Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the numbers for a second. Because when you get so wrapped up on Twitch about like just everything, getting wrapped up in the viewers, like what game to play, all of that stuff, you can kind of lose focus of who you like, what we've been talking about, who you are and who you started as on Twitch. So like for me, I got strung up in trying to find like, oh, what game should I stream? What should I do at this time, this day, blah, blah, blah. Finally, I just said, screw it. I'm streaming Halo. I like Halo. It's the game that I love. And it's something that I can play 8 to 10 hours a day and never get bored of it. So I just started doing that. Something I saw last year that happened in Ninja, he left on like a vacation or something like that. And he lost 40,000 subscribers. He put out a tweet and he was like, dude, I left for 4 days and lost 40,000 subscribers. We need to come to that's a lot of money. But we need to come to a realization that like Twitch and the numbers that come along with it are literally out of our control. We can't do anything about them. At the end of the day, if we lose 20 subscribers, there's probably nothing we could have done, because even if we had streamed on that day, what happens if we still lost the 20 subscribers? There's nothing we can do to combat that. So at the end of the day, just enjoy streaming, enjoy entertaining for people, like what Valak said. Mm-hmm. Just hop on here, do your thing that you love to do. Like for me, I started playing Destiny, my first stream. Now I'm playing another game that I absolutely love, and of course chat's enjoying it, but I'm having fun. I'm enjoying streaming for the first time again because of the game that I've chosen, and I'm not worried about like, dude, I've got to play this. I've got to play Fortnite at like 9 p.m. At exactly 9 p.m. I have to be on Fortnite pulling off 360 no scopes. No, you don't have to do any of that. Just enjoy your stream at the end of the day, because we lose focus of all of the stuff getting wrapped up, and we need sponsors, we need this, we need that. Just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy it.
Right. Yeah. So this kind of transitions into, I tweeted out recently, my kind of hot take was that if you improve your stream too much, I think it can actually turn off viewers. And to kind of expand on that a little more, like we said, the gear doesn't make the person. If you have the best gear, you're not the best streamer. But more than that, I think it's kind of like this imposter thing where if you're a very small streamer and you're still growing, but you put on this facade of a very professional and put together streamer, and you have the best camera, the best mic, and you take everything very seriously, I think sometimes it's not like it turns off viewers per se, but it's not as accessible as another guy who's, you know, at the same viewership ratio, but he's not like putting on a front of being this real fancy guy. He's just got, you know, casual stuff. He's chatting into a regular microphone. He's just hanging out with people. It doesn't have the best overlays. Reason why I say that is because I've been kind of I've been looking at the WoW Classic bubble a lot recently, and it's kind of mesmerizing because watching guys like Asmongold and Soda Poppin', these guys, especially Asmongold, I was watching his stream setup, and this guy's room is a disaster. It's like he's got clothes all over the place. Like, I don't know how he finds anything. It's just mountains and mountains of junk all over the place, like a hoarder kind of stuff. But the dude is getting so much viewership, and it was like fascinating to me because there's just something accessible about the fact that he's not putting on this front of being, even though he is a huge streamer, right? He's not putting on that front. He's got just that kind of feel of this dude you just want to hang out and play games with. And he's talking about pounding Dr. Peppers and staying up for 14 hours straight doing WoW raids. It's like, there's just something magical about, that's what Twitch is about, I think, and why a lot of people watch it is just to hang out with somebody playing games. And sometimes you get so caught up in like the magic of trying to get the right camera and the blurred background and whatever that you kind of lose sight of what Twitch is actually about. So this is all kind of connected, I think, what we've talked through. AllFun, you have thoughts on that too?
No, I was just saying, I was like, maybe that's a trick. Just toss your laundry on the floor and your Insta views. Insta views right away.
That's the new trend on Twitch.
Yeah.
How crappy can I make this room?
Yeah, exactly. Just toss everything on the floor. I think it's pretty cool. I think, you know, I dabbled with the green screen for a while, and recently I had to take it out of the room because it was kind of weird. I took it out of the room, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put it in storage for a little bit because we were like moving some stuff around. I came back and everyone's like, oh my god, I love your new setup. I'm like, this is what I had before. They're like, oh, it feels so much more at home, it feels more inviting. Like with, and that's actually like 99% of what people said when they came back, and they're like, oh, I like it without the green screen. I feel more, I feel like I'm in your house. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's kind of weird how little things like that can make a difference, right? But I mean, at the same time too, you got to try things. But
right. I mean, even like, Asmongold has a very nice camera, like a multi-$1,000 camera, but people aren't watching him because of the camera. It's because of the gameplay and the content, right? And that's kind of like the broader message I'm trying to apply overall here. Like, it's okay to have nice stuff. You should improve your stream and reinvest in your stream when you can, but don't lose sight of what actually makes the stream worth watching in the first place.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to. I mean, there's two things about it too, right? You want to focus a lot on the gameplay, and not so much my overlay is taking up 90% of what the game is. And even though it's like a flashy overlay, people are there to see the game, right?
Right. Yep. That's why you see like so many big streamers with no overlays. It's literally just webcam and gameplay, and it's just kind of crazy how that happens, because when you're trying to improve your stream, you get looking for these really fancy overlays and alerts, and these guys are at the top of the spectrum with none of that. So clearly you don't need it. It's not bad to use. But Vel or White, you guys have any last thoughts on this before we move on to another question?
No, I think just like we've been saying, just focus on having a good time, and you having fun will show off. Like it'll show on your stream, and people will think it's entertaining if you actually are just yourself.
Absolutely agree. Cool. We have a lot of questions to get through because we've been kind of ranting on our own topics here. So let's get through the chat here. So Steamer said he's listening to an old podcast, and around episode 50 there was discussion about the bounty board. I would like to hear updated opinions on the bounty board program. So AllFun, have you used the bounty board yourself at all, or thoughts on it?
So I think a lot of people assume that as soon as you get partner, you automatically get invited to the bounty board. That's not really the way it works. Actually, anybody can get into the bounty board. It's an open beta. You can just apply. It was exclusive to the US for a while, and then they started inviting like Canadians to join in as well too. I tried to apply for it. It'd be really cool to get on it because obviously it gives you the opportunity to play in different games. There are actual external websites that offer the same kind of thing as well too, other than Twitch. You don't have to focus like solely on I'm going to get on the bounty board. I got to get on the bounty board. So I've been kind of dabbling in other websites as well temporarily that are actually pretty cool. But no, I haven't had a chance. I want to get on it, but I think when they look at the bounty board, they do kind of look at channels that are playing a lot of variety games, because that is how the bounty board works, right? You know, if you're exclusively playing, you know, Fortnite, and then all of a sudden they want you to play the Forge or something like that, or 7 Days to Die, for example, they might not choose you because you've been exclusively playing one game, and they might think that you're just going to go to that game for 2 seconds and then bounce back off of it, right? So, but no, I haven't had a chance. I would like to definitely get on it for sure, though.
Gotcha. What are some of the other sites you've used that are like that?
So there's actually a lot of sites out there. One that I was actually going to bring up at the end of the podcast was a site called Keymailer. It's actually a pretty known website. I just found out about it last week. Pretty cool. Basically, it's basically like a Steam directory. So if you go to Keymailer, what they do is they kind of look at your channel, they look at your stats, and they go, okay, what games do you want to request? So you can go on there and you can request a ton of games and say, I would really want to play this game. There's also they also have paid sponsors on there as well too. So as soon as you upload your channel stats, it'll ask you for authentication from like your Twitch, obviously, and also your YouTube channel, and I believe your Twitter as well too. And it'll pre-approve you for certain games in your genre. So in the past week, I've got about 7 or 8 pre-approval games. For just basically they send you a CD key and say play our game. On top of that, they also apply you a affiliate code that says, use this code and we'll give you 25% of like if the sales are. Some of the games obviously are just ones that you probably wouldn't play, but a lot of them are actually pretty newer games. Like there's a game right now that's being played called Zera Survivor. I don't know if you guys seen it on Twitch. But they sent a key for that. There's just a lot of it. And it's pretty cool that you can actually request a key for a game that you're interested in. I know that there's a few other ones. I don't know if you guys seen the one that got released from Humble Bundle. It's like called something Bastards or something like that. I don't know. That was just got released as well too. And that was another one that was pre-approved. So pretty cool website. I would definitely suggest checking it out for sure.
Cool.
See if you guys, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a cool way to get into it. And you don't have to. Do you have to be a partner to get into the bounty board? Or can affiliates do it too? Because I've seen different things on that. Do you know?
As far as I know, you can apply. Anybody can just. It's just a beta program, so you just go to the beta site, like log in. You can enter your credentials, and I'm assuming anybody can be a part of it. I would want to say you most likely would have to be partnered, but I don't know for that for sure. I haven't looked into like 100%. Yeah.
I'm not totally sure, but maybe somebody in chat knows. Vel, do you have any thoughts on the bounty board stuff? Have you seen any of it used a lot?
I haven't been able to use it yet or anything. I know of people that have used it and gotten some free games out of it and everything so they can play them. I think it's cool. It's another way, to like get a little bit of money from streaming, which is cool, and then try out new games. I think it's mainly cooler for the developers, to get the games out there. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about it because I haven't been able to do it myself. So
right. Yeah, I haven't really played around with it myself either. I've seen a lot of people use it before, and some people kind of make a joke out of it when they have like a regular day they'll do bounties or sell out Sundays or whatever, and the community kind of like gets involved in that. I think it's a great program though overall. The fact that you have access to stuff like that, it's just I'm sure Twitch will keep pushing that, and we'll see more and more opportunities like that coming along. Even like the loots thing that came out recently is kind of similar in a lot of ways. Just more kind of ways to monetize your stream. White, you have thoughts on this?
I think it's a cool program, the whole bounty board thing. I've seen a couple of, oh my gosh, Vince. I've seen a couple of my friends use it. So like, Gamerdad has used it, Admired Plague, to kind of throw some names out there. And they've seen some pretty decent success from it. I mean, they get like, sometimes there's like AAA titles. So I know Assassin's Creed did one, believe Stargate or Splitgate. Yeah, Splitgate did one.
I think League of Legends did a few in the past.
Yeah, League of Legends has done a few, and it's a good passive, like yet again another passive way for streamers that aren't in the program to earn money. And it isn't locked just into partners; it is affiliates and it's affiliates and partners right now. But like what AllFun and Games said, they're probably looking for variety streamers versus like myself. I just play Halo, so there's not going to be much market for me to do stuff like that. But there are other sites like I've used Woovit, I've used noise.gg, and they're all good places to kind of get into developer relations, I guess you could say more. You get to know the developer, you kind of get to interact with them, give your feedback on a game. Some of these are like beta programs as well, so they'll be like, we want you to stream our game, but just be forewarned, it is in beta. So that's a good way to kind of get developer relations. And this is a good way for people to get in with a developer and becoming like a community manager or a streamer for said developer. So I think it's a cool program because it kind of helps a streamer on all fronts on either making money, viewership, or developer relations. So it's a pretty cool program for on all fronts.
Yeah, I think it's really cool from the developer side too, since they have a way to kind of send a mass opportunity to people as a whole instead of going through like private emails and there's not really a set way to do it. This might become more of a thing in the future where developers just put out these open opportunities and streamers can take advantage of them. I think it saves a lot of back and forth and hassle from people. So I think that's a good thing to see overall. So Steamer, thanks for that question, dude. I would definitely look into it. If you haven't already, I've seen a lot of good stuff come out of it for sure. So Rab TDK has a question now. Says, what would be your advice for a brand new streamer with a pretty non-traditional channel to grow and find an audience? And I don't know exactly what non-traditional is. Maybe if Rab can follow up with a little more info. But what would you guys say when you're growing a brand new channel and maybe you're not doing gameplay, I would say. Maybe you're doing something kind of niche. What are your kind of ways to get started growing that? Throw this to actually White first.
I'm not ready.
Throw it to Vel first. Vel, you ready?
Yeah, definitely. So the biggest thing on Twitch is chat interaction, in my opinion. If you're gonna do anything, it doesn't matter like if it's a niche thing or if it's something that everybody else is doing. If you're not reacting to chat or responding to chat, like that's a huge negative. The best way, because when somebody goes down to like find somebody with like lower viewers, for those newer streamers and everything, the one thing that they're looking for above anything else is interaction. So you need to make sure that you're doing that better than anybody else is in like that current like part of the directory that you're in, whichever directory it is.
So little follow-up. Rab said space news/education live rocket launches. That's very unique.
Elon Musk, is that what's going on right now? Like,
yeah, that's actually Elon. That's his handle
in the chat.
Right there.
Elon, is that you?
That is different.
Definitely non-traditional.
Yeah, definitely not.
I think it still pertains though what you said earlier.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Twitch, it's all about chat interaction. So focus on that for sure, and then the rest of it, just make sure you're having fun doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that stuff's really cool too because Twitch loves to show really unique content on the platform. So if you start building up that consistently and you're actually enjoying it, which I assume you're doing, because this is definitely not like a strategic thing to stream to grow, but I think it's really cool. And if you keep pushing it, I think Twitch might be interested in helping you push, because I think they have been pushing a little bit of like science technology stuff recently. So that'd be kind of cool to see. AllFun, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's nice to see. Yeah, I mean, just what Green was saying is if you're unique on Twitch, you might find yourself getting recognized not pretty quick, but I mean, because you're basically standing out in the crowd, right? So I think you have something pretty unique there. I mean, just make sure that you're in the right category. I think there is a science and technology category on Twitch, correct? Is there not or something like that?
Yeah, science and technology, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a perfect category to be in. I don't know how many people stream in there or not, but back to what Val was saying as well too is Twitch interaction. If you're finding that your chat might have 2 or 3 viewers inside of it, as long as they're talking to you and interacting and you're not ignoring their questions, it doesn't matter how fast your chat is moving, try to interact as much as you can, because it definitely goes a long way when people feel like you're actually responding to their questions that they have, for sure, right? So you don't want to focus you don't want to just spend the entire time focusing on chat, but you want to make sure that if you're playing a game, or if you're demonstrating something or explaining something, that you have that time available to answer questions at the time too. So you're not just focusing and you have tunnel vision on what you're doing, for sure.
Right. And I think especially additional content could help with this too, maybe YouTube and things like that, because basically you should just know that you're not going to get a ton of viewers right away with this type of thing because it is so new. That I don't think that means you shouldn't do it. And especially if you're passionate about it, you could grow a really unique audience here. maybe through some special content ideas, like covering a live rocket launch sounds really cool. I'd probably watch that on Twitch. I love watching anything live on Twitch, so that'd be really cool to see. Wait, what are your thoughts now that you're in space?
Now that I'm in space myself, I think it's a cool topic, honestly. Like, a lot of people like to watch. So when Elon Musk and Falcon X did the, I think it was like the Falcon Heavy, where they launched the Tesla into orbit, and they're going to land that on Mars. There's like millions of people watching that, but I don't think everybody knew that it was happening. So like, kind of putting that over on Twitch and kind of creating a little community around that would be pretty cool. It's definitely something that you don't see a lot of, honestly, on Twitch. And like what you said, Twitch is starting to push like the science and technology and all of that stuff. So you could probably capture an audience like early on and be known as like the space guy. But it's something that not a lot of people are doing. So don't expect like hundreds of people to fly to your channel immediately. But yeah, it's definitely cool, man. You just keep up the chat interaction, like Bell said, and foster a community on Twitch.
Yeah. I think also one thing that some non-traditional categories will do really well is integrate it with gaming a bit. So you do space news / education. It'd be kind of cool to cover space games and how they relate to that maybe. Maybe you're talking about like spacecrafts in certain games and if they're actually feasible or not, or some kind of bridge there would help. Maybe even if it's like certain days, not all the time. Because that way you're kind of engaging the existing audience a little bit. Like, you know, you talk Halo spacecraft or Mass Effect spacecraft or something. That could be kind of cool to bring people in more. And then you can also do your other content, which is actual news of real space, things like that. Be an idea.
Khaleesi was actually mentioning something in chat that I was thinking in as well too, is you want to make sure that what you're rebroadcasting on your channel is actually, not copyrighted, because you're going to get in a bad situation if you just go, hey, it's the space launch. There's a bunch of like Pepsi ads in the background or something like that, and you go ahead and you rebroadcast that on your channel. It might not be allowed on Twitch. So you want to do a little bit of research on that beforehand too.
It's like we were talking about earlier, right? Don't broadcast seal.mp4 in the space directory. Don't do it. That's really cool, though, Rab. Hopefully, keep us updated on how it goes, because I would definitely love to watch some, if they're allowed, watch some rocket launches on Twitch and things like that. That'd be really cool to watch with an audience for sure. Cool stuff. All right. Any other questions in the chat? I think that's all the. MPI had another chat question actually. Said, what do you think about diversifying the content you're streaming? And this is kind of for AllFun. He said, I recently started doing video editing on stream, but originally started with gaming. What do you guys think about trying to mix those two different types of content? So I guess this goes back to AllFun, moving off of one game, kind of moving into variety. What are your tips on breaking into kind of multiple types of content?
Now, was he asking also like showing himself editing his content on stream? Is that what he's referring to?
Yep.
Yeah. I've never actually the only thing that I've ever done on stream, like editing wise, was showing people like, my OBS and going, okay, like let's choose a cool overlay to put on here, right? That's pretty much the only thing that I've really done on Twitch, kind of for editing purposes. If you're going to stream I'm gonna Photoshop and do all these things, people will watch that, because people do watch art channels that do demonstrate how to use Photoshop and stuff like that for sure, right? Editing programs, etc.
Right. Yeah, I think he's trying to say more like when you're splitting into two separate types of content, right? He's just seeing editing as another type of content basically, instead of streaming just one thing. What are your kind of thoughts there?
Yeah, it's hard to say, because like I said, for me, I always say the more you can put your feed in, like on Twitch, for example, or like on YouTube for that matter, you're kind of putting yourself out there to gather more views, right? So I think I can't really comment too much on that. Like I guess I said, I when it comes to my YouTube channel and stuff like that, I haven't really dabbled too much in it recently. But I would say that, yeah, like the more exposure out there that you can get, the better, right? And focusing solely on one specific thing, one specific game, it's good in some sense, but then you want to make sure that you also don't forget that you want to have fun and try other games as well too. But yeah, that's it for me. It's just basically just, make sure that you're trying to get as much exposure as possible, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it goes back to his earlier question too, because what he's been doing hasn't been working as well as he'd like. So I definitely think it makes sense to try other types of content streaming too, not just other platforms, but other content on Twitch is a good idea. Whiteshadow, you're nodding enthusiastically. What are your thoughts here?
I don't know how to say this like the way I wanted to say it. Yeah, creating other content is really good on Twitch. Like you said, not even just jumping platforms, but staying on Twitch. Just my recommendation would be to make sure like you're putting that in your schedule, because somebody can come by your stream and expect to see you playing a game and you're editing, and that's going to turn people off. So just make sure you're like very transparent with like what you're doing on any given day, and that's something that I tried to do when I was doing a lot of variety. So I'd be like, Monday we're going to play Destiny, Tuesday we're going to play Halo, Thursday we're going to play this game, blah 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 blah. Set a schedule in that aspect at that point. So if you're going to edit videos on a certain day and you're going to you can possibly teach people how to edit the videos, I would do that on like a set given day or a set given time. So we're going to play a game up to this point and then move on to so on and so forth later. I can't really say too much because I'm a single game streamer now, but but that would be like my recommendation, and that's what I previously did.
Yeah, I got you. So you've had some experience there a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool. Vel, what are your thoughts for MPI here?
To me, this just kind of reminds me of like what we were talking about earlier when it comes to like thinking of other things, like just go back to the core of Twitch. You know what I mean? Like of just entertainment, like whether it's YouTube or Twitch, just, focus on entertainment and focus on having fun. Don't focus so much on like the minor details of things, I guess. Just make sure that whatever you're doing, you're having a lot of fun doing it. And then I think another thing too is that a lot of people don't realize that like even though they're having fun doing something, and like if they're not getting a certain like reaction from whatever audience it is, I think it could be just based on how they conduct themselves, as having fun. Because if you're having fun but you're just sitting there, not getting eccentric or anything, people are going to be like, oh, this guy's just sitting here playing games or whatever. But inside you could be having a blast. But if you need to act everything out, I think, I don't know, I think people just need to focus a lot more on just having fun, like we were saying earlier, I guess, and just just showing that you're having a good time, and then that'll increase the mood of everything that you're doing, or everybody that's watching you do whatever it is that you're doing. So It just comes back to the same thing we were talking about earlier for me.
Gotcha.
I think a cool thing, what he was mentioning, it was an MPI, right? That was awesome. Yeah, okay. So when it comes to MPI, like if you're mentioning, I'm going to shorten my streams from 5 to 6 hours to 4 to 5 hours, right? So what you could do is, hypothetically, if you're going to stream a game, you end the game. Okay, it's been a great stream today, guys. I'm going to switch over to the editing category on Twitch for the last hour, right? So a lot of people don't realize that even if you're just sitting there playing solitaire on Twitch, sometimes people want to come in there and chat with you and talk about their day and comment on things, right? So if you're worried that I'm going to reduce my hours on Twitch because I have to edit, but at the same time, you could be live while editing your content, as long as you're not, logging into your YouTube channel and typing in your password, like, while you're editing all your stuff, right? But some people might enjoy switching over at the end of your stream and going into like a chill session for the last hour while you edit your stuff. You're still on Twitch, you're still talking to people, you're still interacting, and you're not losing that last hour that you would be on, right? And so you're giving yourself still that exposure in a different category while you change. People might ask you questions about what are you using to edit, how do you edit, stuff like that, right? And you're still on Twitch, you're still live, and then you're at the very end, hey guys, check out my YouTube channel, check out my video. It's boom, and then you have people's input on there, you have people's ideas put into the video themselves, like right then and there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point too, for sure. I think if you do it at the end of your stream too, you're being a little bit strategic, not like insanely so, but that way, you get your main content people expect up front, and then you kind of just pipe some extra content in the end there. I also want to say that I know examples of people who do this pretty well on Twitch. If Steve's in chat, he knows this guy, but there's a really famous League of Legends editor actually called Arc Data, who he played one champion in League, but then he would do really fancy edits of that champion for YouTube stuff, for like highlight videos. And so people loved watching his edits because they were so good. So people would come watch him live edit on Twitch, and he would, like you said, just do a mix of actual gameplay as well as editing on stream. So as long as you have something worth watching, people will come watch it. Now, the caveat on that is he's a very good editor, and he spent a lot of time doing that and building an audience. So don't do that expecting to get a big audience right away. But if you have really good videos that turn out great, people want to see how you make them for sure. So I think that could work out. So cool. Thanks for the question, MPI. Appreciate that, man. All right, next question is from Lil Fitty. I love that name. He said, I've asked you guys this before, but I would love to hear from Whiteshadow and AllFun and Games as well. This is pretty similar to what we've been talking about here. He said, should you play the games you want, even if they are low viewer games, like 250 to 500 viewers, or play the more popular games that you don't want to play, but want to grow your channel? So I'll throw this to AllFun first. What would you say to Lil Fitty?
Yeah, so it depends on what position you're in, right? If you're just beginning to stream, and you're looking at channels and going, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stream, Fortnite, League of Legends, stuff like that. You're gonna get pushed down to the bottom. Like there's really no way about that, right? So I think, in my opinion, I would probably, for my past experience, I've tried doing that. I tried sticking with that for a good 6 months, and it didn't work out well for me. I'm not saying that it can't work out for you, right? If you have something unique or something cool to add to your channel that might be different from somebody else in that category, you might find yourself moving up pretty quick in that saturated category on Twitch. But I mean, personally myself, I would say try to find a game that might have at least half, or the numbers that you're saying, 250 to 500 viewers viewing that channel. I mean, that's a lower side of numbers. I mean, you can kind of branch into something 1,000 to 3,000 viewers on Twitch to kind of get into that. But yeah, I would definitely suggest trying to go into a smaller game while you start, and then once you establish that community and you say once you have those numbers available, then you can play. Then you should try jumping into the bigger games, because then you might not feel so discouraged about, hey, I'm not really getting the viewers that I'm looking for. But I mean, that being said, there's two sides of the story, right? You got to do what you like, and you got to do what you love, right? So if you're just streaming on Twitch because you love playing Fortnite and you don't want to play anything else and you never want to touch another game, you might as well still do it anyways, because you're loving it and you're having a fun time. And if people scroll all the way to the bottom to check you out, I mean, that's going to work out in your favor for sure too, right? So
right, absolutely. And White, I mean, you talked earlier about switching to Halo recently, and that's kind of similar to this situation, probably, right?
Yeah. So Halo at any given point will average anywhere from 250 onwards up to about 1,500, depending on the time of day. And I've looked at the charts and all of that stuff, and that's how the trend runs, because Halo is popular everywhere. So games like Halo that don't have like the biggest following on Twitch, because you look at Fortnite and they've got like 200,000 viewers at any given time. I'd play Halo because I love it, and there's always going to be a community for those types of games, and most of those communities with the smaller viewerships still have dedicated communities that you can break into, especially if you're really good at the game. So for Halo, for instance, I'm somewhat good at the game and I play it and enjoy it. Say you're playing, I don't know what the game that you would be playing it is, but say whatever game you're playing, if you enjoy it and you love it and you're having fun with it, keep going. Because if you look at the game and it's somewhat still popular, there can always be a community that will garner attention for that. And if you're good at the game, you can become well known within that community. And you can possibly do something passively off the side, like go into a forum, say, hey guys, and make like a tutorial about the game, or a write-up tutorial about the game, different strategies about the game. Just become integrated in that community. Don't gauge like the games that you play solely based off of viewership. If you enjoy it, play it.
Yeah, that stuff's so good, because I mean, if you have the passion, there's so many ways to take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of on the opposite side to what he's saying here, where your game actually that you want to be playing is smaller, but you're going for it anyway, even though like, you might think it makes more sense to choose a bigger directory game. So that's kind of interesting. Vel, what are your thoughts on this?
Just kind of going back to what I was saying earlier about whatever you're willing to do for free, you should do that thing, because you're going to be able to stick it out through the hard times. Like, you're going to have hard times whether you're streaming Fortnite or whether you're streaming, what was it, the Artifact or whatever earlier, if you're actually playing that game. Like, either way, you're gonna either way, whatever you're playing, you're gonna have hard days. Like, you're gonna have really tough times where you're gonna feel down, But if you're enjoying it no matter what, then those days are easier to get through.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The one thing to make sure that you focus on, if you're going to choose a game that is something, smaller on Twitch, you're going to probably want to make sure that that game is, somewhat still in development as well too. If you kind of focus on a game that's kind of like on its way out, you might find that people are going to lose interest. I think that's what the cool thing is too. If you're on a smaller game, whether it's an indie game or whether it's an upcoming game, and you're streaming it right away, you might find that the developers kind of look at your channel and go, hey, cool, like let's send this guy some free codes to give away in chat, right? And this has happened a lot of times to me, and I mean it's been really good. But and I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen, but I'm saying that if you're one of the 25 streamers that stream that game specifically, and people know you and you develop in that community, like Whiteshadow was mentioning, it's gonna be in your favor, right? And then you can use that community to branch off into other games, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I would say so. In this question, he specifically says, should you stream the more populated games that you don't want to play but want to grow your channel? If you don't want to play a game, don't play that game. It's one thing to have a game that like you kind of enjoy and has good viewership, then you can kind of swing that. But if you're like, all right, Fortnite looks like the best game, I can't stand Fortnite, but I guess I have to play it, that's not going to work out well for you.
Yeah, no.
I'll give kind of an example. So I was streaming Smash Bros for a while, and I like Smash a lot. But it was very good for viewership because it's a smaller game and kind of in that range you mentioned earlier. But a lot of the time I want to be playing League more. So I made the choice to switch to League, and it's done a lot more for my stream lately for just like how much I enjoy it. And actually growth has turned out pretty well too. So I've kind of been in that same situation, because the problem is, even if you take off with that game you like less or don't like at all, you're going to hit that range of 200 to 500 eventually. And if it's that small, it's probably not growing. So at some point you're just going to get capped anyway. So I would say stream the game that you want to stream anyway, that has the better growth for a whole directory, and you'll also be able to stick it out longer, like Vel said, because you'd be doing it anyway. So that's what I would say for that. But good question, though, Fitty. Appreciate that, dude. Thanks for asking that. Next one is actually kind of a different question because it's from a viewer perspective. So this will be interesting. It's from My Twitch 2015. It says, as a frequent Twitch viewer, I think that they have to restrict the banning in chat. I've been banned or ignored a lot. They should let viewers speak their mind. It is more entertaining to see the reactions. It actually adds content to the stream. Kind of interesting take here. So, Vel, you have thoughts?
Yeah. There shouldn't be a restriction on banning, because it all depends on how the content creator wants to run their channel. Like, if you say something, even though you might not think it's the worst thing in the world, if me or any other streamer disagrees with it to a point where maybe they don't want it in their channel, like, that's not on you, like, that's on them. Like, just because like you are upset because somebody else doesn't like your opinion or whatever it is that you're saying to get you banned in the first place, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's like saying like everybody should listen to me because I'm me and I'm special. Like, I'm sorry, but like, we're content creators, like, we're gonna run our channel how we want to.
Fair enough. Whiteshadow, what's your take on this?
Oh, gosh, that's like walking into a business and telling them what their policy is going to be like. Okay, so if you come into my channel, I'm just going to put an example out there. If you walk into my channel and you say something to another viewer or something that I don't like, you're either getting timed out or you're banned. I have a 2-step policy, so I'll give you a second chance. We will time you out for 600 seconds. You have that much time to think about what you've done. You sit in the corner with a dunce hat on, and then you come back in. After those 600 seconds, you come back in and fire off another thing. You're done. That's just how it runs. You have to think about, as a viewer, when you go into somebody else's channel, you're at their discretion. So you say something off key, boom, you could be done in that channel. So you got to be careful because everybody has a different rule set.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of it comes down to, is it's all based on your own policy, right? In terms of if you are someone who, like, you get one shot and you're out, or if you're just going to be the person who lets it all fly. I feel like that's less on Twitch's end. The only thing, though, is that Twitch and a lot of other websites like YouTube have been pushing a lot of responsibility on the content creator now. So like you're kind of responsible for policing your community, which is, that's a whole nother topic, like whether they should be doing that, or if it's really like, why am I responsible for this random viewer popped into my stream now? But AllFun, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I don't think they should ever restrict what you can or cannot do in your channel when it comes to banning people, right? There is, I understand the question a little bit. If you're going into somebody's channel and you just say, you suck at this game, but that's like the first thing that you say to them. Somebody might come off and go, oh yeah, but it depends on how that streamer takes it, right? So I would spend some time to judge their personality before you start joking around with them like that, right? But yeah, if you're saying something that's gonna, get the chat riled up, I mean, you're basically overstepping your boundaries like instantaneously, right? But if you're going in there and you're going, you suck at this game, like, are you gonna get good at it anytime soon? It depends on how that streamer is gonna take that, and regurgitate it back to you, kind of thing. But I think that I don't think changing that in any way, making it so people can't ban people right away if they choose to. I mean, that should never really be a thing, right? Because it is their channel and they got to represent it the way that what they want to represent it.
Yeah, like Twitch can't put a restriction on bans, right? I mean, you can't say you get 3 bans an hour. So what happens if you get like 5 people who come in and are doing really bad stuff? Like, well, I guess I can't ban them. I feel like that can't be on Twitch's end. But in terms of the actual streamers tolerating, maybe divisive topics, that's a good conversation, I think, because people, it really comes down to your own preference. Like, I kind of tend to lean more towards letting people have more chances or say a little edgier stuff, whereas some people are, Vel's like, it's out of here.
I rarely time people out. It's like if especially if it's a new viewer, if you come in and say something and it's like your first thing that you say, like, you're just banned. Like if you're a regular viewer and you say something that's like kind of crossing the line, we'll time you out for a second just to purge what you said and like be like, hey, like, no more of that. Like, we've had to do it to someone who's actually watching right now. But I rarely time people out, like, because if you come in here and just say something dumb, you're just like, I don't need you. I'm
it
sorry.
really depends on what they're saying too, right? Because there's such a range of like, okay, that's way over the line, like you're not even getting a chance, versus okay, it's a little edgy. It's like it might rub some people the wrong way. So it's a good point though.
Yeah, I think a warning is a good thing, but I mean, obviously if it steps over the line, crazy, then, no warnings need to be had, right? Yep. But, I think a warning definitely puts in place, like, okay, this is how my channel is. Don't be weird, don't be dumb. Don't post stupid shit.
Don't be weird.
Yeah. So don't yeah, exactly. But I mean, I think, like I said, I think it just depends on what your channel is and how you take it yourself. But right. I don't think you want to I don't think you want somebody posting something weird that's going to make your channel, awkward for the next 5 to 10 minutes, or because obviously it's just going to make things worse for you streaming, right? So
yeah, right. It sort of depends.
I had an interesting situation where I actually played with a dude on Halo, and then he did like 1 kill better than me, and he was like, I carried the team, I'm streaming, I deserve a raid. And I was like, excuse me? Like, okay, so just be careful what you say in chat.
That's a whole nother conversation with the other streamers too. But good topic though. Thanks for bringing that up, Twitch. I think that's pretty interesting to talk about. If you guys have more topics like that, I like to talk about like interesting takes like that for sure. It doesn't have to be a question per se as much as a take.
Interesting take. Green's shorts are too short.
Yeah, that's apparently what everybody's saying right now. I thought they'd be out of the picture, and they're not. So there we go. See, better camera here. I'm protected. Thanks, Vince. Moving on to the next question. So Spartan has a couple of kind of like rapid fire questions for us. First one is, are there things you do to prepare for live streaming that people may not expect? Interesting. So I like to eat a snack before I start streaming personally. Like for this podcast, I usually eat like a granola bar or something, or banana. But what about you guys? What's something like people might not expect that you do before you're streaming, if you can think of something? AllFun?
Okay, well, I mean, it's really weird, but I usually brush my teeth and do my hair. That's like the weird thing that I do right before. It's really odd. I don't know why I brush my teeth before I stream, but that's literally what I do.
I gotta be on camera, man. Gotta look good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Val, do you have anything weird that you do before streams?
Definitely brush my teeth. Definitely like make sure my hair doesn't look dumb. And then usually like I'll try to stay away from eating altogether. Like I'd much rather be hungry when I'm streaming, because like I don't know. I get like too comfy when I'm full. So like if I'm hungry, like I'm constantly like thinking of things. I'm not just like, like just chill or whatever. Like I could just sit here and hang out if I'm like full of food or whatever. But if I'm like really hungry, like I need something to like think about so I don't think about being hungry, I guess. Another thing I do is I make sure to drink at least a cup or two of coffee beforehand.
Fair enough. So you let that hunger fuel you. Fuel you.
Yeah.
Fuel you.
Whiteshadow, what's some weird you do before you start streaming?
Like AllFun in game said, like I make sure my hair doesn't look stupid and I brush my teeth. I don't know why. Sometimes I'll even like run and take a shower, just like get full and ready. Like I'm going to work. But I also have like my drinks and stuff ready in the fridge, and I have snacks on standby because I get super, super hungry during streams, and I hate being hungry. So
yep. Do you guys eat on stream? Ready. Interesting question.
Yes.
Here. You do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
White does. Vel?
Rarely.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. Pretty rare. Yeah. But if I get hangry though, it's at that moment of do I stay right back and go, munch something real quick and come back.
Yeah. I hate eating on stream. I don't know why.
Oh, me too.
I cannot do it. Like I'll like
it makes me cringe when I'm eating on stream. I don't know.
I'll switch to like a VRV screen or something and go scarf down something. But
I stare into the camera as I down a protein bar.
Especially as like a fat dude. Like if you're eating, like it's like you're just doing what everybody expects you to be doing. If you're like a larger guy, like eat that pizza, dude. Like thanks, chat, appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so his next question, which is another quick one, he said, "What's one thing you wish you knew when you started streaming?" Which is interesting here. Whiteshadow, throw this to you one first.
Oh God. How expensive some of the gear is, like PC parts and stuff like that. I guess more for me is like what it would take to put in my PC to run my stream. Because even as a PC builder, I didn't understand like how much processing power I would actually need to run my stream at the way I wanted to be run.
Interesting. So you wish you had known more of that beforehand?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Vel's Dino here. What would you say?
I'm sorry. Something kind of unrelated. Nixie was just talking about how he watched somebody swallow full mouthfuls of mac and cheese without chewing. And I just the thought of that is just disgusting. Okay, so what was it was about things that we wish we would have known when we started streaming. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, that was okay. I didn't know that like numbers were so uncontrollable. You know what I mean? Like it like losing viewers as easily as like it does happen on Twitch. It was not something I was aware of, and when it did happen the first time, it really, really sucked, and I didn't handle it well because I had no idea that it would happen.
Interesting. So you wish you'd kind of been prepared for that ahead of time a bit?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I told my channel that I was leaving for a couple weeks to go do some military stuff, came back, and, I was used to like 15 to 16 average, and I came back to like 2 or 3. And this was within like maybe 3 or 4 months of streaming. And so like I was like, I lost everything. Like I'm dead now. Like I might as well just like never leave my bed ever again.
Give up on all my hopes and dreams.
Yeah, right.
AllFun, what was something you wish you'd known before you started streaming?
There's a few things. I mean, one would be that I wish I would have known a long time ago how to test my stream offline. So a lot of people don't know that, but you can attach a exclamation or it's like question mark bandwidth.tv or something like that on your stream, and it'll actually test your connection uploading up onto like OBS or Streamlabs without actually going live. And that was actually a big thing for me that I didn't realize until about a year and a half ago. And it was about like maybe 4 months or 6 months, something like that, after I started streaming. And that was like a big thing because before that, I would basically just go live and go, "Is my connection okay now? Is my connection okay now?" So once I figured that out, it was pretty good. And another thing was not focusing on, the higher end games that I wanted to play. Like I was playing a lot of Counter-Strike, like I said when I first started, and I wish I would have focused more on indie games and lower end games, so that way I could build my viewership before going over to them. Those are my 2 things, I would say. Yeah.
I gotcha. See, I'm kind of the opposite. I wish I'd focused on just League right off the bat and ignored other stuff, like the more saturated games. The other thing I would say, which is kind of random, is I wish I had learned how to use the webcam settings more. So like the Logitech C920, that took like 5 minutes to learn, and it's such a huge quality improvement for my stream. If you just go through, you guys might know this, but the Logitech C920 defaults to 1280 or like a square size in OBS for some reason, and all you have to do is uncheck a box and you get that huge like wide 1920 size, and it's like night and day difference for your stream. And I wish I'd known that, because I streamed with that for months without realizing. Just click a button and your camera looks a lot better. So that's something I would say. And all the little tweaks are cool too. But good questions.
And lighting. And lighting too. Lighting's a good thing.
Yes, that actually does. And even just like very simple lighting. Like Bell has t-shirts on a lamp or something.
I used to have that, but now I have like a LED bulb that points at me that just turn all the way down.
Fancy man over here. Never mind.
Yeah, you know.
Forget it.
No more t-shirts over my light bulbs. That was so ghetto. Oh my god.
I mean, it worked. What in the world?
It did work really well.
What is behind Whiteshadow? Right? Is that a bucket head? I don't know what that is.
I'm
all right.
Kind of scared.
Yeah, I'm not sure there. Spartan, thanks for the rapid fire questions, man. We appreciate that. Guys, we have about 20 minutes left, so kind of last call for questions or calls. If you want to jump in, now's the time. Next question comes from Heedham, who I don't know how to feel about this one. He says, how do you guys feel about sleep streams? I don't know what sleep streams are. Have any of you guys heard of sleep streams?
I've heard of a streamer taking a nap on stream.
Dan the Dapper.
And him. He fell asleep in the middle of a 24-hour stream.
Is that a sleep stream? I guess.
You can get banned for that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. You can get banned for those now.
So that's a pretty easy hard pass. Don't fall asleep on stream. Maybe there's something new that popped up that we don't know about. I'm not sure.
I think there are sleep streams. I remember the video of, what was it? Who am I thinking of? Mr. Beast like donated $10,000 to some guy that was sleeping, I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure he was in a sleep stream. I don't know. I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't know if there's like an actual category for sleeping. Unless it's like IRL, maybe. I guess in IRL you can pretty much do whatever you want, right? I guess I'm not, you're just out there doing your own thing, right? So I guess maybe in the IRL category there might not be anything that violates terms of service regarding sleeping, but I have no idea.
The only thing I can think of is, I think it was Soda Poppin' that like he like played a video or something on a stream and went to sleep. Val, do you remember this? Does it sound familiar?
I remember hearing about it. He just played YouTube videos and like it would just like go to the next one. He just went to bed.
Yeah,
that's all I know about it. I didn't watch it or anything, but
I remember once. Yeah, I remember one stream I was watching a guy that was dozing off, and he every time somebody donated him bits, he would put a Cheeto in his belly button, and he had his shirt off. And this was this is probably one of the weirdest things that was probably when I first started tuning into Twitch as well too. And I mean that was on the IRL chat on Twitch as well.
This is what Twitch is.
Yeah. So soon you'll be able to subscribe only to watch people put Cheetos in their belly buttons on Twitch.
I know when IRL first came out, there was a lot of people that were like, "Dude, I'm just gonna stream myself asleep at night," and that was like if you saw IRL at the very beginning of time, its infancy, there's like you'd scroll and there'd just be people sleeping. So, Twitch started banning people. So
So moral of the story: don't fall asleep on stream or you get banned.
Yeah.
Yes. Simple as that, I think. Okay, another question from Spartan BL. He's got tons of them today. He said, what have been some of the challenges you've faced getting to where you are? Interesting. So Vel first, what's some challenges you've experienced getting to where you are now on Twitch?
Man, that is a loaded question.
It is.
So like I was saying earlier, coming back from being away for 2 weeks for the military and like losing almost all my viewers, like that was a huge one. And then getting over like the mental hurdle of seeing friends grow really fast on Twitch, and me having just lost all my viewers at the time. So kind of getting jealous and seeing other people's success, but then like it's getting through the mental hurdle of like, why are you butthurt at somebody else's like success, or whatever you define as success. So for me, it was a lot of like switching that kind of mentality around to, instead of being jealous, you start using that as a drive essentially to work harder. Not that the numbers or anything ever mean anything, like not that it's the main purpose or anything, but if you can like change that into a competitive mindset, competitive but humble is what I like to say. I think it helps drive you immensely, and like that took me 6 or 7 months to do, and it's helped me out through this entire time.
Yeah, comparing yourself to others is a huge one. Like I felt that initially too, because it's really easy to do, to look at someone who's been streaming the same amount of time as you or the same kind of stuff, and they're getting further and you're still back here or whatever. When really you're still growing. You shouldn't discount that because someone else is growing faster. That's a great point. AllFun, what are your thoughts on a challenge you faced while streaming?
I would probably say, coming up with a good schedule that works like really well for you and your significant other. That's like a big thing, is making sure that, and I mean friends as well too. It doesn't just come with a relationship, it comes with friends too, right? Making sure that I think it took a while before a lot of, debates and stuff like that came into play, well before I got something that worked and that worked for both of us. And it took a lot to kind of say, okay, I really want this to work, but I want to make it work for the both of us, right? And so that was pretty much a big hurdle to get through. And then once everything smoothed out and everything was, nice and aligned for Twitch, then it became really easy to kind of keep, your social life and everything else intact with Twitch as well too. And I think another thing too is incorporating them and your friends and stuff like that, and getting them, introduced to your Twitch channel, right? Maybe like make them feel like more welcome and stuff like that too, right? So that was probably my big thing.
Gotcha. So that took some time to work out too, to get into a balance. Gotcha. Whiteshadow, how about you? What are some challenges you've faced, or one big challenge you faced getting to where you are now?
Two that stick out to me was getting my schedule down right. With 2 kids, it's very, very hard to get a schedule like nailed down. So that took some time. And the other thing for me was getting over the fact that I can't control all of the numbers. Like they're just out of my control at all. Because I'm kind of I get OCD about that stuff. I like to plan out, and I like to make sure like I can hit certain goals. And getting over the fact that I couldn't control like viewership, follow count, all of that stuff took some time, but it was definitely a hurdle for me to get over.
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of like Vel said earlier, just realizing that's kind of outside of your control eventually.
Yeah.
Something you have to deal with for sure. Cool. Spartan, thanks for these questions, dude. They're really good stuff. We have about 10 minutes left, so I'm actually going to switch over to a question that we got from, I think, Discord, which is from Mr. Wicket. Said, what do you guys think about a streamer using themed overlays to match the game being played? I do understand it's a lot of work to create screen graphics for each title, but if possible, do you think it would be an element that could help you grow and keep you from becoming stale? Any guys use game-themed overlays for your stuff at all, perhaps? Or have you in the past, maybe?
I've used one for Counter-Strike way back when I first started.
Okay. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't know. I think it can be cool, but I really like having something that's like it sticks to my branding as opposed to just the game that I'm playing. It worked really well for me at the time because it was a free overlay and I was playing Counter-Strike like every day. So I think having the same branding across every stream, I think it makes it more comfortable for your viewers. I think. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like changing things up too much, and I feel like if you're changing it based on which game you're playing, it might be a bit much.
Especially as a variety caster, right?
Right.
Yeah, makes sense. Whiteshadow, what do you think?
I've done this. I've seen it done, and I've done this, I think, once in the past. When Destiny, it was back in Destiny 1 when they did like this big expansion. I think it was like Rise of Iron or something like that. There was like this kind of plague that happened in game, and so I changed the color. I had the color change of like my entire overlay, and it made it look like the plague had taken over until I beat the campaign. So I did that, but I still retained the same branding. I just kind of changed the color scheme and kind of a little bit of the look. I've seen other big streamers do this before for like, so sometimes when King Ithalian and Professor Birdman were playing Breath of the Wild from Zelda, they changed a lot of their overlays and stuff. I don't see it done too much on Twitch, and personally, I would never do it again because I like to maintain the same look no matter what I'm playing. But it can be cool depending on the community that you have built around your channel.
Fair enough. AllFun, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, if you're switching between games consistently, it's going to get a little hectic for you unless you're willing to spend the time. Or if it's something where you've chosen an overlay that is very universal, that you can change the colors on, change very quick, and then you can make it look almost appealing to the game that you're in. That is something that works. Sometimes you'll get lucky, and as Whiteshadow mentioned, there's a lot of overlay websites out there that if a game is really popular, they'll just put it out there for free because they want the advertisement for saying, hey, we made this overlay. You'll see that a lot with certain websites like Twitch Temple and stuff like that. They'll produce them real quick and give you the opportunity to just take the overlay real quick. So it is an interesting idea. I think if you're switching games consistently, it will probably get a little bit crazy. Also, I feel like people do. I don't think that you need to say that everyone likes to have consistency, but I think what Val was saying is that something that works and like looks like it belongs in your channel and it's unique to your channel, and sticking with that overlay is definitely a good idea to stick to. But I mean, you always want to dabble in different things to see what your community likes too, right?
Right, for sure. I mean, having the consistency really matters. But I look at, so I think even if you just stream one game consistently, so first of all, it's important to make sure your overlay fits your game. Like that's just a basic thing. Make sure your camera's not covering up stuff. Make sure you put info on spaces that aren't being covered. Like that's just basic stuff. But when I think of this question, I think of, if you guys have played like League of Legends or Overwatch, a lot of people will build stuff that will modify the UI for your overlay. So in like League, it'll fill in some of the bars with fancy graphics, or in Overwatch, it'll kind of build graphics around the icons on the screen. That stuff, I think, it's kind of cool at first, but I think it's also kind of gimmicky. I've seen a lot of people who have used it at first and then don't use it anymore because, I don't know. I just don't see a lot of big streamers using this stuff. So I think it's cool to use if you want to, but I don't think you need it anymore. And I don't think it's going to do that much for you for making your channel stand out. Like maybe someone will kind of go, oh, that's different for a second and then forget it's there. Be my thing. So if you want to do it though, you totally should. I don't think it's going to hurt your channel in any way. But cool. Thanks for the question. That was from, let me get the name right here, Mr. Wicket. Thanks for that from Discord, man. Appreciate that. All right, we have about 5 minutes left, so we have one more question from Spartan. He's just shooting them off today. He said, how do you feel about community type games like Jackbox? Simple question. Have any of you guys played community-driven games like this on your stream? All three of you, it sounds like. Okay, White, I'll throw this to you first then.
I like it because it's kind of more a laid-back scenario, and you get to like really play with your community. You get to enjoy like time with them. I played Jackbox Party, so I think it was like Quiplash or something like that, which is absolutely hilarious. I did it after dark so I could have like a little bit more raunchy style answers and stuff like that. But it's fun. It gets really funny, and you can just garner, instead of just garnering relationships, you build friendships with it from your chat. It gets more people interacting with you, and just it's a fun time for everybody.
Nice. Vel?
I've definitely done like Jackbox Party and those kind of games. I don't really like doing them on stream too much because it can definitely get to the point where people start crossing some lines. Even regulars. And, like I think honestly, if I were to do that again for like any sort of event, I would do it off stream and just have it in a Discord call or something. You know what I mean? Just because it can get to that point, and even with people who never talk in a certain way or make certain jokes or anything like that, there's always like some sort of line that it's gonna get crossed almost every round. So yeah, I try to stay away from it.
I got you. Fair enough. AllFun, what are your thoughts on community driven games?
Yeah, they're really fun. I mean, Jackbox for sure. It used to be like I still try to do it every now and then. Basically, at the last half an hour of a stream, kind of jump into Jackbox, get everybody interacting to say, let's have a fun time. Just make sure that they're logged into Twitch when they're going into Jackbox, because there's the option to not log into Twitch versus log into Twitch. And if they're logged into Twitch, it's a little bit easier to kind of, see what's going on. But yeah, it's definitely a fun game. Just make sure that you're kind of like what Vel said, things can get out of hand for sure.
Yeah, keep it under control if you can.
Yep.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I think those games are really cool too. And it's not just things like Jackbox, but community-driven games in general are really cool, whether it's like the marble stuff or the Clone Drone Danger Zone thing.
Clone Drone
used to
Danger
play.
Zone. Yeah, that one's pretty cool.
I think like working a day and at least during the week to play with your community more is good if you tend to play by yourself more. Even if it's just like custom games in, Halo, League, Overwatch, whatever. That stuff's cool too, for sure. Cool. Well, I think that'll do it for this week's podcast, guys. So thank you all for coming out and watching. Let's go around and kind of sign off a little bit here, starting with Whiteshadow. Anything you want to say to people before we head out here, where they can find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/whiteshadow_001. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. You should guys check them out. Next, AllFun. Thank you for coming out for the second time, dude. It was great to have you back on. Anything you want to share?
Yeah, really enjoyed it. AllFun Games with a Z on Twitch. So if you guys want to check me out there, I'm a variety streamer. Play a lot of Don't Starve Together, but dabble in a lot of other Survivor games and FPS and pretty much anything that I enjoy. But yeah, thanks for having me as well too.
Awesome stuff, dude. Hope to see you back again soon. And of course, Veli. Anything you want to share before we head off here?
Thank you guys for asking all these great questions. We got some really good ones today. And yeah, just we really appreciate doing this podcast. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We'll be back next week, guys. And remember, actually, True Partner apps opened today in the last couple hours. So you can go apply for that now if you'd like to on our website, in our Discord, wherever, if you want to be on shows like this, doing panels and things like that. We will see you guys next Friday for more of this stuff. And actually next Wednesday for our new show with Whiteshadow. That's going very soon. So stay tuned for an announcement on that. And hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Thanks for watching. We will see you soon. Adios.
Blaze up.
Blaze.